talk about number 10, and he obviously has the sexiest picture in this entire video. Neal Brown of West Virginia. I had him ranked 10, you had him ranked 12. So he technically was tied for with Aranda, but the tiebreaker, uh, I had him higher than Aranda did at 10. We both have him at 11. So I gave Neal Brown the tiebreaker there at 10. I sneakily like Neal Brown. Now, if you asked me that last year, it would have been like, maybe it's not working out there, West Virginia. I think Neal Brown's a bad coach by any means. I just was like, oh, maybe it's not working out there. But he stuck with it. He stuck in the trenches. And we talked about coaches that panic in the transfer portal when they know they're on the hot seat. Did Neal Brown do that? Nuh-uh. He attacked needs, right? Everyone and their mother was like, West Virginia has to get a quarterback. Okay, they didn't get a quarterback. Garrett Green, pencil him in for the worst quarterback in the Big 12 next year. Neal Brown knew what he had. He knew he had a great offensive line. He knew he had a great set of running backs. And he ran a fantastic offense last year. Defensively, he said, I need DBs. So let me take a couple darts. He hits on Beanie Bishop, and they forced just enough turnovers to get it done. They won some ball games that maybe they shouldn't have, but they also won some ball games that they shouldn't have. Like it was a good job by Neal Brown saving his job like that. And their offensive line and defensive line are still going to be pretty decent next year, I believe. So I don't think we've seen the last of Neal Brown. I think, the recruiting classes haven't been super impressive for Neal Brown. But man, he's done a good job building the trenches this far. And, if he keeps it up, then there could be some years in there where you just have a good enough offensive line where you can just lean on teams and you force enough turnovers on defense, especially with the talent margin, like you said, not being great. I don't know, man. I feel pretty good about where West Virginia is as a program right now. Of course, it's not like Dana Holgerson had it. It's not like Rich Rod had it, but I think it's on the up and up. So I put him at 10. He was a top 10. Now there are 9 guys ahead of him, but he was considering he's on the hot seat last year. Now I had him ranked 10. I think that's pretty good movement for him. So you had him ranked 12 behind Dave Aranda. So what are your thoughts on Neal Brown?
Yeah, no, I like it. They were such a fun team to watch and root for this year. You mentioned they knew their identity and they did it better than anybody else. And you knew they were going to run the ball. You knew Garrett Green was going to get after it, and they still could offensively and defensively. They made enough stops. Like you said, Beanie Bishop was key for them. They had a good interior guys. I like it. I like the way he's built the program, kind of from the inside out. He knew he had a good O lineman. He committed to that once he got here, and it finally panned out for him. Building up to 9 wins, which is awesome. They returned their quarterback, returned some other key pieces offensively. Should be okay, but I do think I don't know. I think sustainability is my concern. I think with Neal Brown is because they haven't recruited at an elite level. Not saying they have to in the Big 12, but it does concern me just a little bit. And they finally peaked, and it was. I don't want to say it was like a struggle to win a lot of these games, but like it didn't feel super pretty or easy to win anything. And I guess that's how Neal Brown prefers it. But also, like, I don't know. I just think a couple bouncing balls either way. And I guess they could have lost. Like, they should have beaten Houston, yada, yada, and the Hail Mary. And then some of the games they probably should have won, maybe, or they should have lost, and maybe they did win. So it all evens out in the end. But I don't know. I just think he's done one good year, saved his job. Dave Aranda is ahead of him because he has his one good year is Sugar Bowl and in a Big 12 championship. And obviously like top 10 ranking. So that's why I give the nod to Dave Aranda. And we'll see how long term he keeps it going. I do think they're another program, and I feel like I'm gonna keep saying this, where West Virginia improves and gets better and enjoys the changes coming in the Big 12. They no longer have to play Texas and OU and insert a couple teams, with less talent there. And obviously, you also expand your recruiting bed to out west even more, which is awesome. It's tough that traveling. Obviously, you are so far east, but so is UCF and so is Cincinnati. So it's not too bad. Regardless, though, and I like some things that in the portal, but it's just I'm a little hesitant to say, okay, Neal Brown had one great year. Let's not overreact. Let's not consider him he's a flat out, top line coach in the Big 12 just because he's returning the quarterback. I do think a lot of pieces happened and fell into place that made him successful last year. and we'll see if they can replicate. I think he can. I'm not sure he can, which is why I had him a little bit lower.